But that was a pub.
Yes, yeah.
Right, here we are outside Mercantile House, where I had nearly all of my lectures, if not all of them. I used to be in the economics department, and that was up on the 5th floor, I think, and our library was on the 4th floor. So I used to spend a lot of time over here, hanging about outside the library, worrying about the essay which I've got to get done. Sometimes I go over the road in the drill hall and do them over there. Did you spend a lot of time in the library up here?
Not as much as the lecturers would have liked. I did receive a letter at the start of my 3rd year saying that my attendance record at lectures was 10% over the previous 6 months.
That much?
Yeah,
What happened to it?
Well, as a consequence, my personal tutor, who was responsible for my pastoral care, sacked me, which I thought was a little harsh.
You'd expect them to show a bit more compassion and
put a support plan in place.
No support.
With targets, objectives.
I spent more time here. I spent more time here when we occupied it.
Yes, yeah. Well, that was a valuable formative experience, I think.
I can't remember why we occupied it.
It was the cuts, I think.
The first occupation
was accommodation,
which you weren't in, were you? Because you started in 1972, didn't you?
73.
Well, you'd have missed the first occupation, which was actually to do with the excessive expansion of the Polytechnic without building enough accommodation to house the students. And
that was the first.
Really, this was an awful thing. We just had to first of all run over the road to Gun House and occupy there, which was a social workplace. That's where it all started, and then it soon spread here to Mercantile House, and then down the road to the administrative hub of the Polytechnic, Ravelin House, which of course has gone down in. It's a stuff of legends now.
Absolutely.
But what you would have known was the second occupation, which was simply to do with cuts. Which were quite unacceptable, of course. And, as a result of that, we occupied Mercantile House in 71.
Yeah, we did.
As well as Ravelin House.
I think we were very good because, unlike at Ravelin House, we didn't trash the place, did we?
No, we didn't. No. Well, there were no carpets to ruin for a start.
No, true.
No.
It's quite funny. In my year, there was a mature student who was on secondment from the Pakistan Army. He was an officer. He was a captain. And he was a real ingenue. He didn't understand quite the politics. And he said to me after the occupation, he said that if this had been back in the University of Karachi, where he recruited, he said the army would have simply come in and shot everybody. And that's what he would have recommended on this occasion. He failed his first year though. This is we were delighted by it.
Did you used to sleep overnight here at Mercantile House when the occupation was on?
Oh yes.
Yeah. During one of the occupations, I think it was the first one actually, I actually moved out of my flat where I was living and moved permanently to for the rest of the term to the occupation because it went into one of the holidays. So it's just a safe rent. Well, why not just live in the occupation? So that's what I did. I was quite unusual amongst the male occupiers in which I like to maintain standards. I still wore pyjamas at night time.
Yes,
it's the only civilised thing to do.
We found that highly suspect at the time.
Of course.
But now I'm sure you realise it's just me making sure that standards weren't slipping. And these things are important even in times of ferment and revolution.
Of course, in those times we were a genuine rental mob because we did used to get on coaches. We travelled to any occupation anywhere in the country.
I didn't. I obviously wouldn't get into trouble.
University of Essex.
Have dispute, will travel.
Police charge up the ramp. Up the ramp.
And arrests being made. That's right.
I only tended to get involved in things like that when they were to do with not giving platforms to fascists. As a nice liberal sort of chap, I could go along.
Well, paying for the coaches.
Well, that's right. That's chair of the financiers. You had to stay in my good books. I'd sign anything.